All right, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard-only video. Today, we're going to be talking about some of my most valuable players, some of the heroes that I know. Everyone always asks, who do I build next? What do I do? And I feel like a lot of people will tell you, just get this legendary, and we don't have all that. So, what heroes are going to get us through what content in the beginning of the game? We're talking early game, literally you just started first month, maybe first 2 or 3 months, and you don't know who to build and what to do next. And you also don't know why you're building them. So, we're going to kind of go through each area of the game and which heroes got us through those areas the most. All right? So, right in the beginning, when we're doing campaign, all right? Say you're working on normal. Normal is basically a joke. Now, the problem is you're going to get stuck because remember, you're only working with 3-star heroes with 1-star gear. So you're going to be going into these areas. Felwyn's Gate is going to be a hard stop. Now, the thing you need to know about Felwyn's Gate is that a lot of the enemies in here are force affinity. So, what does that mean? It means you're going to probably want someone who is spirit affinity to take it down. Now, in the beginning, you will get, let's just say we go in here. In the beginning, you will get heroes like, let's say, Spirit Host. You might be able to farm her. All right. If you can get her and you can build her to 4-star or even Kale to 4-star, by the time we're running into this area, which isn't completely insane, to be honest. Like, you're going to be pulling shards, you're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. You could even level up while you're doing some of the quests or some of the missions, but she's going to be your probably most valuable player. And if you put her in the front and you have her with a speed boost, she's usually enough to get Kale to get you through these areas. Now, obviously, my team is a lot stronger. Whatever. We're just going to play it so you can see it. But essentially, you're going to bring her in to get Kale's attack up so that he can nuke everything. Now, I don't know why she's not using her attack up right now. There must be a glitch in the matrix. But either way, probably because she can kill things. They're weak right now. But she can do attack up, which will give him attack up, and that'll get you through. Now, these two right here are basically the heroes I use to get through almost all of normal in campaign mode 3-star. It's going to take you some time. Figure if you're really good at this game in the sense that you've been watching a lot of videos and you're starting over, you can get to brutal in the first few days. Honestly, first day or two, it's possible. But that's if you're solely focusing on Kale. Now, if you're not solely focusing on Kale, some other heroes can be helpful. Let's say you just don't have Spirit Host. All right, let's go into stage selection. Let's go into hard mode. All right, so now let's just say we want to do these areas. We're going to go into stage 3, pull her out. We're going to go into our vault, include master vault, hide. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull out everyone's fan favorite, the one that everybody gets in the beginning of the game, and that's War Priest. Now, we're going to put Kale in the lead because she has HP. Now, these two work well together in the sense that you have at least a 25% attack increase. Now, you're going to notice a problem here is that she doesn't go first, which is going to be an issue for you in the beginning when you're trying to get through these battles. She's got to be faster than Kale if you're going to use her. And the reason that is because you want her to get her attack up and you want her to get her heals in more. If she's too slow, she's not going to get her attacks in. She's actually pretty strong for this early area. And she'll do enough damage to take down these force affinity heroes and get you through it. Would I recommend going crazy on her and building her up through campaign? I mean, not really. She's not the worst person you could build, but she's also not that great. Once you start getting into brutal, things are going to change a little bit. And by change, I mean the only difference is you just need to build Kale. Like, that's it. You can run through brutal more than likely with Kale at level 50. And Spirit Host at level 40. That's a possibility. Does it mean you should do it? It depends on how you're feeling and what you're trying to do. But let's just say we're in brutal, and this is the hardest part. Let's go into here, stage 3. I like going to stage 3. Let's take these two out, and we are going to bring in Spirit Host right here, and we're going to bring him and him. These two just work well together, even with the negative affinity. Like I said, you're going to see that this is a little bit different because obviously we're stronger, but because she can get his attack up, and he has lifesteal gear on from the beginning of the game, they can handle most of these fights and not have an issue. So when you're trying to find heroes that can get you through these dungeons, you don't have to look very far. I mean, most of these guys you're going to get pretty early on. And you can get them all from normal. Is it lower chance to farm them? Yes, it is, but that's just life. Uh, so there you go. You've got Spirit Host, you've got Kale. Those two can get you through campaign. Like, you don't need anyone else. Literally no one else. If you build these two, you can get through Brutal all the way through to the end. Okay. Nightmare, when you're first starting, you should just skip. All right. I waited, I think, 6 to 8 months before I started working on Nightmare. You can actually go back into my playlist for Nightmare campaign, and you can see when I did the first video. And that's basically when I was, 3-starring Nightmare campaign for the first time. I have a feeling it was a while in. So don't focus too hard on Nightmare. It gets way harder very quickly. All right. Even the two that we've got right now are going to have some issues. I mean, maybe not now because it's been forever and they're a lot stronger, but we're going to give it a shot. I think I showed it in the Nightmare campaign. So here you go. These two just work well together. And it's because she doesn't die. She increases his attack and he has lifesteal. That's it. That's why. And she's actually really strong the way we built her. We gave her some attack and made it so that she can do more damage because that way she'll heal more when she attacks. See? Boom, boom, boom. Nightmare campaign. And these two will get you all the way through it. And to be honest, even though my heroes are stronger right now, even with mediocre gear leveled up, Brutal's not going to be that bad. All right. If these two can handle it, almost anyone can handle it. And everyone can get these guys. They're literally the first one. And here you go. Look at that. We got a nice little crit rate, HP glove that's 6-star with crit damage. How nice is that? If we level that up and it has a speed boost, I am in. But yeah, those are the only two you need for campaign. And that's it. Nothing else, zero. Until you start getting into the latter stages of Nightmare, where the situations become a little more dire and you're going to need more crowd control, these two are the best choices you can use for campaign. So that's campaign in the beginning of the game. Dungeons, all right? Once you start getting into dungeons, it's going to be the same heroes that we're looking for almost in every single area. So in dungeons, potion keeps are all going to be the same. Minotaur is going to be the same. Ice Golem is going to be the same. Spider is the only one that's weird, and that's because the affinities change based on who you have, and also depends on what level your heroes are. There's a lot of things that can screw you up there. And Fire Knight is also one of the exceptions because sometimes things go wrong. All right, but as far as Dragon's Lair, all the farmable heroes are more than capable of handling this. All right, we're going to go to stage 15. Actually, we're going to just go to stage 10 just to make this quick. So we're going to take these guys out. All right, we've got Kale. We're going to put him in the lead. You're going to get your Spirit Host, and we're going to get Valerie, and you're going to get War Maiden. Those are the farmable heroes that you will get if I can find her. She's always somewhere. Here we go. These are fine for getting you through, and you can use Diabolist in the first month. That's fine. All right, they're going to get you through pretty much anything you want to do, and every single one of these heroes is farmable. There you go. Speed up. We're going to do dungeon fights. Like I said, I know that my heroes are strong, and War Maiden's one-shotting things, so you know that they're a little bit overpowered. Yeah, if Diablos was one-shotting things, I'd be worried. Now, why do we use these heroes? Well, same reason we use them in campaign. Kale and Spirit Host are awesome together. Attack up, she removes debuffs, and he has poisons for the dragon. Makes life a lot easier. You've got Valerie who can heal and shield. You've got War Maiden who can do defense down, and you've got Diabolist who can speed up your team and slow down whatever enemies you're fighting. So these are the ones that you're going to be wanting to look for. I mean, look at that War Maiden. She just whacked that whole wave in the first round. This is going to be the team that gets you through stage 10 on essentially every single dungeon. That was Dragon. We're going to do each one at a time. Golem. We're going to stay at stage 10 because, like I said, you need to know that these are the heroes that will get you through it. All right, get these guys out of here. We don't want any of them. We want the same freaking team. All these guys are coming in hot, and they ain't going to stop. Done. Start. And like I said, this is all early game. We're not trying to, break the bank and show stage 25 Fire Knight. We're just trying to get people to know that these 5 heroes are the ones that you're going to build in the beginning, and that's it. Like, they're going to get you through every dungeon. Every single dungeon, even Spider, you can do it with these 5. All right? So if you're going to build anyone in the first 5, and this is why I have the starting 5 video. All right? This is the reason. They just beat everything. All right? They're good at it. Even now, I can put them into higher areas, and they will win. Yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 you need. All of them are farmable. Stage 9, you can get War Maiden. Stage 1, you can get Valerie. Stage 4, you can get Spirit Host. Stage 12, you can get Diabolist. Just farm until you get them. If you're really hardcore, you can farm them over and over again. I farmed War Maiden the War Maiden area for a long time, probably about 2 weeks maybe, just to level up heroes, get food to get Kale up to level 50, and to get War Maiden skills maxed. So I basically had a Kale maxed, and I had War Maiden maxed from farming. I gave books to Spirit Host. Diabolist I didn't have because I actually used Apothecary, but either one works. We did farm her up because that's a good area to level. And then Valerie, it took a little while, but we did end up getting her. I think I might have even booked her at one point, but yeah, it just took forever because I didn't feel like farming stage 1. But that's where we were at. In the first 2 months, who cares if you waste a couple of rare books? As long as you have 5 heroes that are maxed that can get you through the dungeons up to like stage 15, stage 10, 15-ish, then you should be fine. All right, so now the next heroes you should be looking for. Now, if we're just going by heroes that everyone's going to pull and get, the next thing that's going to come up is going to be Fire Knight. And this is because of missions, all right? So Fire Knight's going to pop up, and you're going to have to run. I think 15 was where it was a problem. 15... we're going to have to confirm. We're going to have to use our energy for this. Stage 15 is where things started getting a little weird. And you have a couple choices. One, you can bring Valerie in here. You can use this team. They are a poison team, and they will get you through Fire Knight. They're all rares. The only ones you'd have to summon is Frozen Banshee and Grave Chill. But yeah, they'll win here. They will win. You don't need... I usually bring in this team without Valerie, and I'll use... what the hell's her name? Syl, just because she has speed down, because I use this team as a as a debuff team to do the get 10 debuffs on the Fire Knight, whatever quest it is. But this team works fine, and everybody in this team actually works for Clan Boss also. So this entire team you can bring into Clan Boss, and you can switch out anyone in here you want. You can switch Kale with what's her name, War Maiden. You can switch him with what the hell's the other one? Spirit Host. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that you can do, a mix match. So basically, everyone I just showed you is also usable in Clan Boss and also usable here to get you through Fire Knight stage 15. Now, is this going to be the best option? I don't know. Depends on who you pull. So I'm going to show you a couple of options. So this is the first one, and that's a team that basically can poison the crap out of Fire Knight and get you through it. And it also saves you the trouble of having to build a Clan Boss team. And the reason this team works is because they're just going to poison, they're going to out-poison the boss, is what they're going to do. All right? They have defense down, which is why actually you probably shouldn't bring in War Maiden. So they're going to eventually have enough poisons on this boss where you're not going to have to worry about heal reduction. All right? And you can do combinations of the things we're going to show, just so you know. Like if in the next fight that we do with Fire Knight, you can adjust and bring in a different hero to get the heal reduction in. So if you want to pull somebody, but the reason we do it with these three, specifically Kale, Grave Chill, and Frozen Banshee, is because they have nonstop poisons, and they will pretty much nonstop keep the shield down and keep the poisons up. All right. And if she has extra turns, if you have what is that? If you have Relentless Gear, put it on Frozen Banshee immediately. Kale can be fine with his lifesteal. Relentless is also good for Frozen. I mean, for a Grave Chill. But if you don't have it, Reflex Gear. Honestly, even just attack gear at this point, like it doesn't even matter, as long because she gets enough attack. Really, as long as you make them fast enough, just make sure every piece has some speed on it if you can, and get a speed boot on you. If you don't have it, farm it. All right, you can put them all in lifesteal, and there you go. Problem solved. They'll get through it. Let's edit the team. Next version, you can take these guys out. All right, and you can bring in heroes that do turn meter reduction, and heroes that do that would be 1, 2. Actually, we're just going to do it this way because I actually forgot that I have it in here, and you have to do some setup. So Fire Knight 17, we're going to pull her out, I think. I think we pulled her out. Yeah, we pulled her out, and we brought in Valerie. Where are you, Valerie? Oh, lordy. Here we go, Valerie. Done. And this team will get you through as well. Why do they work? Well, basically, it's because they have a bunch of turn meter manipulation. The new additions to this team are now Armiger, who is an uncommon. All right, you've got Soulbond, who is a rare, and you've got Crimson Slayer, who is also a rare. Now, remember, my team is a lot stronger. It's going to be a lot harder for them to die. So yeah, this will be a lot easier for me than it will be for you when you first get here. It took me a lot of tuning and a lot of building to get these heroes to work. And you can go watch all of my videos on any one of these heroes. I really don't have the time to go through each one of them in this specific video. So if you have some questions about a certain hero, then feel free to go look at all the champion spotlights. You can see every single one of the heroes in here doing it. Now, the reason this works is Crimson Slayer has a 3-hit on her A1. She also has a turn meter reduction skill. That one you just saw from Soulbon, she also has a turn meter reduction skill. And Armiger also has a turn meter reduction skill on his A1. So basically, they can just keep the boss down far enough in turn meter where even if the boss gets another shield, you can push through it. Now, Crimson Slayer has heal reduction, which also helps. Now, something to know is that the reason this is working right now is because Valerie is in a shield set, and she needs to have a shield set in order to make this specific run 15 work with this specific team. Because these guys hit too hard, and this team is not meant for wave clearing. So they're meant for boss killing. That's it. That's the only downside here, is that you need to have Valerie or someone in a shield set to keep everyone from dying. All right, now hopefully you'll get some good turns here, and Apothecary will get a 3-hitter. Apothecary is going to be a staple in almost every single one of your fights if you get him. Look at that 3-hitter. And now we're going to hopefully start dropping turn meter, but this is the wrong affinity for these guys. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to do it. All right, but this is another option. It's a slower option, and it's the wrong affinity for stage 15. But you know what? It gets the job done. And that's all that matters. I think I sat here and watched these fights for like almost 3 minutes. There you go. You got your heal reduction. So now I think it's 50%. Yeah, 50%. So at least he's only getting 25K. And like I said, this team, once they get in the rhythm, they can keep the turn meter down long enough. The problem is getting them into that rhythm and getting the shield down fast enough to where they can actually do the turn meter manipulation. Really, it comes down to getting that off right there. So we got it. So now we've got the first hit. And then Soulbon will have to come in and do a turn meter reduction to 100%. See, if he misses, it makes it harder. As you can see, this is a rougher fight. Using the poisoners is a much easier version. It's also quicker because you can get through. All right. This is tougher because it's dependent on them getting that shield down and having their skills used at the correct time. But there's Flowing Sword. Say she does decrease turn meter. He did decrease turn meter. So when they're hitting, it's actually not bad. See? Boom. Look at that. So accuracy is going to play a really big role in both of these teams, because if they're not landing poisons and they're not landing their turn meter reduction, then you're not going to win. And as you can see, this is taking a lot longer. All right. Don't expect a short fight unless they get the turn meter down quickly. Of course, she used Flowing Sword at the wrong time. The other downside with this team, just to know, is that Crimson Slayer and Soulbon have fairly long cooldowns on their turn meter manipulation. So you're going to have a lot of trouble with making sure that that works. Speed's going to play a problem. I did this for like a month. You can go back and watch my older videos, and it took me a while to really speed tune one of these teams to get them to actually win the fight. And I knew that it was going to be a slow going fight. So here we go. Hopefully we get a turn meter. We did not. See, they're going to be missing. Now, if they don't miss, this fight gets way easier. We got our heal reduction again, so that's good. And then he missed his turn meter again. They're having a bad go of it this time. But this is how it is. I had fights that are 7 minutes. I had fights that were, 4 or 5 minutes. That's the luck of the draw with this team, and unfortunately, it is what it is. The good news here is that every single one of these heroes as well will be useful in some respect later on. All right, so there we go. It comes down to when Soulbon uses her turn meter manipulation. Once you get into the rhythm where she's constantly getting it and they're not missing, then you're good. See, I think she's going to keep using it. We're not going to take it off auto because I don't want to cheat. I want you to see that this works. I think we might have not had Soulbon put with her skill as her priority. She should have attacked. See, that would have been nice. So we got Flowing Sword. Boom. There we go. And then, she missed it. Missed turn meter, but we got it from Armiger. And now they're just going to keep going. But the good news here is that they don't die. So it's a very defensive team. They will die if you wait, 20 minutes, but otherwise they're pretty much good to go no matter what. They're gonna beat it. They're gonna get through it. It's just not as effective as the Poison team. The Poison team just works really well. It's also because they're built extremely well. That's also why it worked a little better. But yeah, you can make it with this team. If you get some speed on your team, then you can probably make this a little bit easier. See, they're using the wrong skills the wrong time. And if you're also not trying to do it on auto, you can do this a lot quicker because you can choose when to use the turn meter manipulation. And what I would honestly do if I was at this point where I'm waiting this long, what I would do is when I first get into the fight, I would set it up where the first attack is from Soul Bond to get the turn meter all the way down to 0. And then from that point, usually it rotates the correct way. If you pull in like this is basically the worst it can get. It's 5 minutes, 43 seconds. That's the worst it gets because they weren't in sync at all. So you might want to just stop the fight at the first, when you get to the boss, do your turn meter manipulations to get it down to 0 and then auto. That might make it a little bit easier because if they get in the rhythm, they win. So there you go. That's how you beat. Those are the heroes that are good for Fire Knight. And then when you get into Spider, Ice Golem, you're basically going to use every single one of the heroes we just used. Most of this is not going to be hard. Minotaur is not going to be hard either. You can use all the heroes that we just talked about. Spider's the only one that's going to be a little weird. I was trying to do a hard mode video and I changed my mind. Up to stage 10 is really all you need to do right now. Stage 15 is going to be a little bit tough. You can beat stage 10 with a bunch of heroes that are essentially just monsters. So here we go. We got these guys. We're going to bring Apothecary in for this because I don't think... You know what? Screw it. Let's just bring her in. There we go. And we're actually going to use speed on this one. There we go. Start. What is this, stage 10? Did I do stage 10 or 15? I don't remember. I think I was trying to do 15 because we want to make sure we can beat the dungeons. Now, this fight's going to be a little bit harder. It will take some time to beat. But the good news is everybody in here is good. And the starting 5 can do it. Once you start pushing, this was stage 10, right? I think this was stage 10 because 15 requires a very specific team to get us through it outside of, barring you getting an insane hero. But stage 10 is easy. I mean, you don't have to worry about it so much. You've got reduction of turn meter on the baby spiders with Diabolist, and that's actually not a bad thing. There you go. Kale can wipe the floor with these little baby spiders. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Just a dead-ass spider. Pop! Right in the face. Diabolist. I love it. And then now Spirit Host will end it with a twap. All right, there you go. Stage 10 done. You get a bunch of 5-star gear from here, so just use this area to level up until you get to 15. Now, once you start progressing into 15, you're going to need some other heroes, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to suck. So filter. No, we don't want to filter. Cancel. Hide. Team setup. Do I still have my old school Spider 15? All right, so this is Spider 15. All right. Now, in this team, we actually did not use Haikatoon. I would assume that by the time we get here, we're using Haikatoon. So right now, we're going to say it just because she's good. If not, you can finagle this with Soul Bond Boyer, the one we just used for Fire Knight. And you can watch my video on the spider to help you get through stuff if you're interested in breaking down some more areas. But the turn meter manipulation is great. Having the turn meter manipulation on her is good for the baby spiders, as you just saw, even though it didn't work too well. But you have Zephyr Sniper, who is an uncommon, who can tank all of these spiders because she is the correct affinity. And then you have turn meter manipulation with Armiger, and you have turn meter manipulation with Crimson Slayer, and you have turn meter manipulation with Haikatoon. So that's a bunch of people that can do turn meter manipulation. And if you don't have Haikatoon, like I said, basically just bring in Soul Bond, and she can take the turn meter down to 0 on the boss. This is a better strategy at getting more of Armiger going because this gives you 19% more speed. So you can do either one. The other team is a little bit harder to manipulate. It's a little harder to build. And like I said, I think I played it before in a couple of videos, and yeah, we're talking like it took me a month to build a team. So don't think that this is going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take you some time to build up, especially Zephyr, to get her strong enough to be able to eat the attacks from the spiders. You're going to need some serious defense. So unless you're really good at building gear, you may have some issues. So but this team works just fine. And because we're so fast, Armiger is going to get a ton of decreased turn meters, and it's more than enough to keep the spiders in check. And then hopefully we have enough AoE damage between Zephyr and Crimson to make sure that we don't have any problems with the baby spiders. And the fun part is it doesn't even matter because really Zephyr can take care of it all. She's just super defensive. She's in lifesteal gear, and she doesn't die. The only way you can lose with this team is if the spider gets too many turns, or if the spider gets that big attack and drops your HP down really low on one specific hero, because then they're going to get targeted by the spiders. Now, we're probably going to take, one heal, which sucks. That's the one that looks like it's bad because you're like, oh my God, we're all the way back to the beginning. From this point forward, we have enough turn meter manipulation to hopefully not see another heal. Hopefully. That's the goal. And he did Laid to Rest on his offshoot because it's nice. He gets some extra damage in. Hopefully, I would probably turn that off, to be honest, and just have him do turn meter manipulation the entire time, just because it's so important that he lands it. If he's doing those other hits, it's not necessary. And you can see Spirit Host is still doing some nice damage here. And I get it. We're all level 60. I understand. But this is what you're working on in the first 2 or 3 months. You're working on these heroes. These are the ones that are going to get you through everything. And now you've got them all categorized into one place in one video. So when you ask next time, who do I build? Well, you're going to watch why we build the heroes that we're building. And you can use other heroes here. All right? This is not to say that these are the heroes that you should build because these are the only ones that work. These are the ones that everyone can get, that are easily accessible, and that will beat these dungeons for you. Even if it's going to be slow, it's going to suck, but it's going to get you through the dungeon, and that's all that really matters. There you go. Laid to Rest again. Now, Soulbond, I think, is a better option for keeping the turn meter down as far as the main spider. So if you're having trouble keeping Zephyr alive, then I would say Soulbond might be your better option, because then you don't get hit with the big hits as often. All right. But if you're trying to speed everyone up and get Armorger to do your job, then yeah, Haikatoon's probably a better option. It really just depends on how well you build your heroes and if you got them their accuracy they need and a bunch of other stuff. And I've had fights here where Zephyr has gotten dangerously close to dying. This team, I think, even works on stage 17 when built correctly. So I think they did pull it off. But once again, it is a long fight. Look at that. She's got the turn meter manipulation and on an AoE. Boom. Armorger coming in. Hopefully we get Flowing Sword soon from Mrs. Crimson Slayer, the monster. Nope, she didn't have it. She does have a sleep, but that doesn't help because if they do one AoE, it wakes everybody back up. There you go. Who would have thought that an uncommon would be this awesome? Zephyr, sniper, baby. Zephyr, frickin' sniper. I gave her praise, let me just tell you. And I remember these fights being this long, and I remember talking about how I was like, it sucks when I have to test these fights out because they take so damn long. And if something goes wrong at like the last minute, then I get upset because I have to rewatch a 6-minute fight. But as you can see, building these heroes is not a waste. All right. And all of these heroes are useful outside. Actually, no, not outside of anybody. Every single hero in this team right now, I use somewhere else. Even Zephyr was used to beat Faction Crypt. Do I use her now? No, because I got your Carl, and she's a barbarian. But hey, you know what? They can't all be winners all the time, right? So I know I just lied to you guys. Not everyone here is usable. No, I'm just kidding. She was usable for Faction War. She got us through because she doesn't die, and everyone else stayed alive. So we just brought her in because she's defensive, and we kicked the boss's ass on auto the first try, which was funny. I didn't expect to win. Granted, we had Syl and a couple other heroes that were good, but it worked. Yeah, because we had Apothecary, we had Syl, Haikatoon is barbarian. No, actually, not. What am I talking about? Apothecary. He's not even barbarian. All right, there we go. So we got the win. Took us 6 minutes, but they work. As you can see, Crimson Slayer's a beast with damage. Look at that. And then Armorger is doing some turn meter manipulation, and Zephyr's also right up there. 3 million damage because she's just nonstop AoEs. So these are the two areas that are going to be tough, and the two areas that you're going to really need to work on building heroes for. That gets you through those dungeons. Okay. So that's basically your starting heroes and the ones that you're going to really be working on. We're going to go back to, what am I doing? I'm trying to go back on my computer. Like I said, most of these heroes you can check out in my Champion Spotlight videos, and they will give you an idea as to how I built them all and how I got them set up for each one of these fights. So that's it for today. That's all the starting heroes that you should be building to get you through the early game if you don't summon and if you're only using mystery shards, or if you just need heroes that work and will get you through things. Okay. If you have any questions, things you want to ask, feel free to leave a comment below. It's always important. And if anyone has any other thing they want to mention, I like when my audience answers questions as well. It's always good to build that community. And as always, like, share, subscribe. It does help the channel grow. It helps everything grow. It helps my flowers grow. Uh, and I do like when my garden grows. It's very important that I have tulips. All right. So this is the starting heroes for all new accounts and the ones that will get you through. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.